Are you an executive over 50 with decades of experience, but struggling to land interviews at the moment? My name is James Tomasi Kennedy, and I've helped hundreds of candidates all around the world secure their next role. And I recently ran a live CV resume masterclass with senior executives using the exact same strategies I use with all my clients. And I've decided to share this recording with you guys today to increase your chances of landing your next opportunity, because I don't have enough hours in the day to help everybody. And before we dive in, hit the subscribe button if you want to see similar job search content to help accelerate your process. As you go through, play along and answer the questions. They're designed to help you get the most out of this session. And when you do land your next role, let me know so I can celebrate with you. So today is all about the 7-second CV Masterclass, and it's the C-Suite Edition. And it's all about helping you all stand out from an overcrowded market. All of you are amazing. All of you are really good at what you do, but there's so much talent out there. How do you stand out? And that's what we're looking to do today. I said this, if anyone has any questions, please bring it at the end of the Q&A session, and we'll go from there. So intros. Who is this crazy guy standing in front of you and making lots of noise? Right? My name is James Tomasi Kennedy. And I'm originally from the island of Fiji in the South Pacific. Some of you might have heard of it. I didn't like the slushy and the hot weather and the warm weather, and I decided, yes, I'm going to go to the UK instead, because I love the gray, I love the cold, and I love the wet. And I've been here 20 years since. And when I was younger, I tried to fit in. So my profile would always be James Kennedy, all over the place. And as I got older, what I realized, it's not about fitting in, it's about how you stand out. So now, everywhere it's James Tomasi Kennedy. All right? That's just who I am. That's who I am. And where it all started. For my career and why I'm standing here today, I've transitioned to 8 different careers, and I've been made redundant 3 times. And this is coming from someone that was a shy introvert, hated public speaking, and I'm a first-generation immigrant to the UK. So this is where it all started. And it might sound glamorous that those 8 different careers. But what I hand on heart tell people is, I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I went into all these different roles, and I loved all my different roles. But there was something inside of me that said, is this all? Is this it? Is that all I'm meant to be doing for my life? So when the redundancy came up, I said, yeah, okay, great. I'm going to take it. I'm going to go do something else. The problem with 8 different careers and being made redundant 3 times, there was a lot of time in between when I was out of work, I wasn't earning money. So these are the challenges I wanted to come in to say, I'm not just coming you from a place of theory, I've lived it, and I've bought the t-shirt several times over. And so my career, I've got 20 years in corporates. I've worked in financial services, education, retail, and the civil nuclear energy. Basically the nuclear power station, the building down in Hinkley near Bristol, I used to help with the IT projects for them. Okay, so this is my experience of what I brought to the table. Not just the theory, not just helping people, but I've lived it and I understand the other side as well. And then, so that's my career. Sounds great, but then it got worse. What happened was at EDF Energy, they moved my role from London to Bristol. And I live in Brighton. I didn't want to move the family to Bristol for it. So I took the redundancy package, thank you very much, and I left. And I was thinking, okay, at that point, I've got 15 years of experience. I have a master's in project management and all this experience working with very, very clever people in the program management place. I should be able to find a job. So can you guys let me know in the chat, how long has it taken you? What's your longest you've been in between jobs? Can you let me know, please, in the chat as I go through this? What's the longest you've been out of jobs? So I thought with all this experience, I should be able to get a job like that, right? 14 months I was out of work. 14 months out of work. And in between, I was trying to think myself, and the self-doubt comes in, and I'm thinking, what the heck's wrong with me that with all my experience, with all my qualifications, all of this, I couldn't even land an interview. And so that was me sitting down at this very desk and I'm doing the work and applying for jobs. And my wife comes in and she tells me, congratulations, baby number 2 is on its way. Main breadwinner from the family, out of work, and another child is coming on. Yay! And then it's in that moment that's like, okay, my process is not working. I got to swallow my ego and I need to go and find some help. And luckily, because I say luckily, because there's so many different scammers, I found the right coach to help me. And they helped me revise my CV. I applied for 2 jobs. I got 2 interviews, and one of them offered me the job. But here's the crazy thing that happened. As I was going through the process, I realized the value I brought to the table, and I did something I'd never done before. I decided to negotiate my salary. Scariest thing I've done with a baby on the way and no money, and you want to go and negotiate your salary. And the craziest thing happened. They said yes. And that moment, I was like, what the heck is this sorcery? What is this magic? And how can I make it better for me, but also make it better for others? Because one of the things about me is I'm process obsessed. And because of all the experiences and all the chances of me trying to find a job, it's like, okay, let me go and try and make it easier for others. So 14 months is mine. Let me know if anyone's in the chat, if anyone's taken longer than 14 months in between jobs, even with all your amazing experience and all the qualifications that you guys have at C-suite level. So I said, let me go help people, but then imposter syndrome come in. Who the heck am I to go and help all these people? And who would want to listen to me? So with imposter syndrome in my head, I said, okay, let me go and do some more coaching services. Who am I? Imposter syndrome. I went and invested thousands in personal development and bringing in elements of marketing, storytelling, psychology, sales into the whole process. And that's what I'm teaching you today. I'm also a qualified NLP practitioner. And what that means is I can hypnotize people if you give me permission. But that's not what I use it for. What I got from that and what you're going to see from that, I understand now the power of words. The power of words we use when we help others, we speak to others, and the power of words we use when we speak to ourselves. Some of the coaches and mentors invested in over the years, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Bob Proctor, Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I'm a big believer in The Secret. Some people might say it's woo-woo, but I believe in the law of attraction. I've lived it. It's happened to me, and it's happened to how lots of my candidates find not just their next job, but a dream job. Because life is too bloody short. Yes, this can help you land a job, but how much more powerful it would be if you find a job where you can use all your superpowers and how much more impact you can do when you do that. So from all of that, this is what I've done for the last 5 years. As a career coach, I've helped people all over the world in 34 different countries, up to CEO level, transition into better paid, more fulfilling roles. And I have over 100 LinkedIn recommendations. And people are only allowed to give me a recommendation after they land a job, because nothing else matters. I'm results obsessed. Nothing else matters until you land your next job. The same problems that all of you are having, I've helped people in all over North America, South America, Europe, Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. It doesn't matter where you are. The recruitment process sucks for everybody. So that's what we have in common with the rest of the world. You as the candidates, but also you, because a lot of you as well have had the joy of reviewing CVs and resumes from people that have nothing to do with the job, right? And part of why I do what I do now is because I've been a hiring manager in the past. And one of my former clients asked me to help them with the recruitment process for her consultancy that she was building up. And I said, yeah, no problem. And so she sent me the forms for over 60 CVs. And I spent 2 hours reviewing all those CVs. And I would have to be honest and say that's 2 of the worst 2 hours of my life, reviewing 60 CVs that had nothing to do with the role. And I'm going to warn you guys right now that when you understand this process, if some of you have the joy of reviewing CVs in the future, it's going to suck even more. because you're going to understand on how we need to do it better. But as I was speaking to Samit earlier, wherever there's pain, wherever there's problems, comes opportunity. And so this is how I've helped people, like I said, some of the companies that you might know where I've placed people all over the world. So enough with the intros. Why do I do what I do? Because I truly believe that the right CVs and resume strategies can transform people's lives for the better. And I know that's a huge statement, and I'm ready to back it up today, right? And it's not just transform people's lives for the better for us, for ourselves, for our loved ones, for the recruitment teams, and even companies as a whole. Okay. And I'm going to, like, I've made quite a bold statement there. I'm going to back it up in this presentation today. Thank you for all of you for doing the feedback form on the biggest challenges you're going through right now. These are some of the that's quotes from what I got to make sure that this delivered what you guys needed. It's how to better tailor my CV, get a foot in the door, finding the right balance between generalist and specialist information that you have, because you know we're all multi-skilled and too much experience to fit on a piece of paper. Okay, there's a lots of competition. How to summarize 17 years of experience into several bullets. And I said, yes, I get that. 17 years. I got people at 25, 30 plus years of experience trying to summarize all that. How to get my CV noticed. Lack of visibility. So this is the feedback you guys gave me. So I ensured that I tailored this today's session. So what are we covering today? First off, we're going to be covering most common mistakes, a tailored introduction, how to tailor a key achievement section, next steps. Then once it's all done, we'll stop recording, and then we're going to a Q&A session. Audience participation, please. So in the chat, can you tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, how would you rate your CV, please? I just need to know a baseline right now. Can you tell me? All right. 10 being amazing, how would, right? So Himali tells me a 4. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else want to play? I've got a 7. I've got a 5. Thank you. 5. I got a 1. Okay. I got Hiral's a 7. I got 6. Feeder's an 8, 9. Amazing. Callum's a 5. Okay. Thank you for all of that, guys. Thank you for playing along. So I asked this question, and if we ever get on a call, I'll ask the question again, right? For me, it's just the baseline to see where people are. I've asked this question to senior directors, senior executives, CEOs, military generals, heads of state departments in the US. All over the world, I've asked this question. 6 or 7 is the average I get most of the time. Okay. I've also had a CEO, when I asked this question to a CEO, give me a 0. Right. And so based on the numbers you've given me, I want to tell you right now that I can see a little bit about your confidence of how a piece of paper truly reflects who you are. Okay. And like I said, it's just a number, but it's a feeling, and feelings are important, and I'll come back to that later. And my challenge I tell to people, especially for like senior leaders, C-suite executives like yourself, how do we expect the hiring manager on the other side to see something higher than the number we wrote down if we can't see it for ourselves? Right? Have a think about that. How can we expect the hiring manager to see what we can do for them and how amazing we are for the role if we cannot see it for ourselves? Okay? So if it's not a 9 or 10, we need to work on that. Okay? And that's what we're doing today. The other thing I'm saying to people is, because I see an 8 and 9 there. Well done, Fida. I love your confidence. I love that, right? So that tells me a little bit about this person. The only key metric that matters is whether you're getting interviews off the back of this. I can teach you all of this and all the strategies, but the only key thing is, are you landing interviews? Okay. And so another question for you, right? What's the difference, do you believe, from someone working minimum wage, like flipping burgers in a restaurant, okay, which I used to do once upon a time, so nothing wrong with that, and a highly paid executive earning 600, 200K plus a year? Can anyone share your thoughts in the chat, please? What do you think is the difference between someone flipping burgers and C-suite executives making 100, 200K plus a year? Or more, right? Even 500, a million a year. What's the difference? Thought leadership. Thank you. Yes, thought leadership's a great one. Anybody else? Right. Networking, strategic thinking, impact. Love it. Love it. Lots of great questions. Personal branding, responsibility. Love all of these. And all correct and all great answers. Right? So I'm going to be speaking to all of you from a impact perspective. Okay. So for the person flipping burgers, somebody can come and learn to do that skill in 10, 20 minutes, and they can more or less deliver the same product. Okay. The person that's maybe playing with a few numbers on the laptop and getting 1 million a year, for example, we might get, wow, 1 million, that's a lot of money. But actually, we need to think about the impact he's making to the people around him, right? So he might be making 1 million, but he might be, through the stock exchange or whatever he's doing, making 10, 20, 30, 50 million for the people, his clients and his customers. Okay. So one of the things I want to highlight to people is your value is dependent on the complexity of the problems that you're able to solve that other people are willing to pay for. Right? And what I mean and how that translates onto your CV is, if you're going for a 100K role, for example, I need to be able to quickly and easily see on your CV how you can help make a company 1 million plus, right? I tell people you want to 10x your value or more. If you're going for a CEO or CTO, you're going to be driving, right? So you need to show me how you've already made X amount in the past and see if you can come and do something similar for me. Okay? The complexity of problems that we're able to solve that are in demand, the scarcity of those problems, you're going to be get paid more, right? If there's demand, is there scarcity? I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, guys, right? I'm not teaching you anything different, because that's what you do in product development and marketing and everything else that you do. Okay, so you all know this. I'm just reminding everyone that you're also a product, and we need to better market ourselves for what the customer is looking for. Okay. So the next one, most common mistake I see on 99% of the CVs I see, resumes I see, is that hiring managers don't care about you, right? All of you have been hiring managers in the past. Okay, so I know it's a broad statement. It's like hiring managers don't care about you. And what I mean by that, there's a nuance to say hiring managers care about what you can do for them. And so people say, James, can you look at my CV? And I said, okay, that's great. I can look at your CV, but what's the context? Where's the job description? What are you applying for? What are you looking for? Because when I help people, we start with the job description first. We understand their problems, we understand their challenges, we understand what they're looking for, and then it's much easier to reverse engineer the process and show them how you fit into what they're looking for. Okay? So it's not about you, it's about what you can do for the companies. All right? And most CVs, when I read it, it's all about I, me. And I'm telling them, I don't care. Right? Because I'm sure all of you know that the pain of trying to read through a CV, okay, these are my problems. I've given it to you on the job description. This is someone's CV, and I'm trying to connect, and I'm trying to read between the lines of how those two things fit, if they do it all. Okay? And while all this is happening, we've got the 101 fires we have to fight on a daily basis at work, because that doesn't stop, right? Right? So I'm telling people is we need to make the process easier for hiring managers and show them what we can do for what they're looking for. And how to do that, which I'm showing today, is how to tailor your message for them. Okay? So the first thing I want to tell people, it's all about perspective. And when I say perspective, it's because your CV is not only read by the hiring manager, your CV might have to go through a recruiter first. Your CV might have to go to HR before the very, very busy CEO, CTO, whoever the head of is, has to read it, because no one's got enough time. Okay? So I tell people, especially I speak with a lot of technical managers as well, right? And I always make the joke that your CV needs to be simple enough that your grandmother can understand what you do, right? And it's joking, but it's not joking at the same time, because a recruiter would be a generalist. Someone in HR is a generalist. And if you guys got specialist technical knowledge, you need to make sure it's the same like when you do presentation, who's our audience, who are we speaking to? You need to make sure that your CV, your resume is simple enough that it can go to every single one of these people, right? And like I said, recruiters and HR are the gatekeepers. They're the ones protecting leaders like yourself from getting the hundreds of useless CVs that have nothing to do with the job. Okay. So again, we need to understand what's important to all of these, and then ensure that it's incorporated into your CV when you take it out, because there's three different groups of people with three different sets of priorities, right? Hiring manager needed you yesterday to help fight the fires while they're fighting the fires. HR has got 15, 20 different positions they're trying to fill out at the same time, and limited time to review the hundreds of CVs that come in. Okay. Recruiter, a lot of them get paid basic, sometimes commission only. So they're not looking for the most best fit for the role. They're trying to get the top 5 over to you as quickly as possible. Right. And it's unfair sometimes. What I'm saying is the commissions and how it's structured leads the behavior. Right. So I tell people, if you're going to apply for jobs, make sure you apply as quickly as possible, because they're looking for the 5 good enough fit rather than the 5 best fit to send over to the HR team, right? Because again, the commission happens only when they get placed for a lot of these recruiters. So it drives the worst behavior. And if you don't hear anything, move on. Okay, move on. I used to take it personally when I get ghosted, and then move on. Okay, so for today's example, I'm going to be using a senior program manager role. Okay, and so I've taken it, I've copied a job description from LinkedIn, and I put it in ChatGPT to just make this process quicker, faster, and easier. And if you guys want to take screenshots, I would suggest this one here, because once you understand how to do this for one role, it makes it so much easier on how to tailor your message for any other role in the future, right? So copy and paste the JD with the prompt below. So copy and paste, and then I say review JD, highlight key points, and rank keywords, right? And so off the back of that, for the senior program manager role, and I picked this one because for all of you, you're all doing projects, even if it's not called projects, initiative, change, whatever, it's all different levels of projects. So as I looked into the role, this is what you're going to be doing. This is what ChatGPT does, or AI, whichever AI you want to use, okay? It helps me to reword the job description in a way that makes it easier for me to read. Right? So for this role, as you can see, you're going to be leading large-scale programs, driving cross-functional teams, managing program roadmaps, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Different roles that you guys are doing, you would have done similar things, even though this is a senior program manager role. Okay? Because a lot of the roles are interlinked and intertwined. Yeah? So I just want to say, so this is what this company is looking for. This is what's important for them. And one of the things I tell people is you want to think of a job description as a list of problems. So if a job description is a list of problems, the keywords on the job description, you want to take that and you want to show them how you've solved similar problems in the past. Okay, so they're looking for someone to lead large-scale programs. Great, if that's what they're looking for, give me examples of how you've led large-scale programs. And we're going to cover that now. Okay, just conscious of time, making sure that we're going through. Okay, so on your CV resume, just a couple of things, a quick one I'm going to go through. Full name, location, postcode, zip code. Okay, sufficient. You'll be surprised the number of times I've had to tell people off to have their full address on their CV. From a data protection perspective, what are you doing? Protect yourself, protect your family. I don't need to know exactly where you live. No one does, right? And there's scammers out there, people. There's scammers out there with scam jobs. Please protect yourself. Please protect your family. And just location and postcode, please, right? Obviously, your phone number and email address, professional email address, please. I had a sit down with a senior IT director where they had something like River Art 25, for example, something like that. Yeah. And I'm saying it's on first impressions, guys, first impressions, that doesn't look very professional from an IT director. Okay. And whether you think it's right or wrong, I'm just telling people, understand human behavior here. First impressions we cannot control, right? So, there's even debate about, for example, email addresses, right? For example, people worry about ageism. Okay. So I'm sure no one has it anymore, but if someone has an email address ending with bt.internet, btinternet.com or AOL, for example, okay, you're showing your age. And while it might seem like a small thing, someone's already made a judgment about you about that. Okay, rightly or wrongly, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying understand human behavior, and this is just how people think in general, right? And you see that I've said LinkedIn is optional. And the reason why I say LinkedIn is optional, because I've helped a lot of people transition careers. And so I want to say to people is if you're looking to transition careers, or you're in a job and you don't want else to know that you're in a job checking you out, then don't put in the LinkedIn. Okay, because for me the resume should align with what the LinkedIn is. That's where the alignment is. If you transition careers, leave it out, because if there's any evidence of doubt as to why it's the right fit or not, they'll move on because there's thousands of other applications going through. Okay, now the next bit I talk about, so for this role, right, it's what's your headline statement to hook. Most CVs, the 99% of the resumes and CVs I see have the same boring introduction, profile statement, profile, okay, personal statement, right? Remember, guys, we don't want to fit in. We want to stand out. So when we're reading through all this, guys, I want you to think of yourself in the role of the HR recruiter or the hiring manager. Right? So most people say profile statement. This one says driving enterprise transformation and business growth at scale, which is exactly what they're looking for. Right? Give them what they want on a plate. Okay? So give me a hook on a statement that's relevant for the role. And then we're going to go into what I call the 5 yes introduction. Okay? So for this role, they're looking for a program manager. You might have done lots of different things. They're looking for a program manager. Some people might tell me, yeah, but I've never done that before. Yes, but you've done the work. You just never had the job title, right? We've all done the work, but you've never had the job title. But call yourself what it is they're looking for. Innovative program manager with over 20 years experience working with highly regulated financial services, utilities, and telecoms industry. Okay. So what do you think? Would you see what I've done here? I've combined all my experience together and I've just put it in there together. And then what I'm telling people is most of us make the mistake of make it in reverse chronological order, right? That's what we do with a career history, reverse chronological. And I said, if you're going for a financial services role, put financial services first. If you're going for utilities, put utilities first. If it's a telecoms role, put telecoms first, okay? And now you can also be more specific or you can be more generic if you want. So for example, if you worked in insurance and the role is in financial services, you put financial services. But if you're looking to apply in another insurance company, you put insurance, okay? We want to connect what we can do to them, right? We want it easier for the hiring manager to say yes as many times as possible, okay? So that's what we're doing there for the initial introduction. And then the next one looks at a relevant achievement. Delivered a company-wide program that saved over 2 million annually and reduced complaints by 20%. Okay, so I always tell people, give me your best achievement up front relevant for the role. They're looking for someone to do company-wide transformation. Save over 2 million, reduce complaints by 20%. Yes, please. I want to read more, right? Remember, you're reading this now as the hiring manager, not as you as the candidate. Put yourselves in the shoes of the hiring manager, right? As Stephen Covey reminds us, seek first to understand before being understood. Okay, understand what they want and give them what they want as quickly as possible, right? Simples when we know how, but it's taken me freaking 40 years to get to this place, okay? And then we can talk about your qualifications, because for some companies, it's important the qualifications. So see, fully qualified, and I'm talking about relevant qualifications, fully qualified in project management with a master's degree and a Prince 2 qualification, okay? So I'm getting them to say yes to me as many times as possible for this role. Then the next step is what I call a pattern interrupt, right? Because what we've said before is all looking backwards in the past. This line here is looking forward, okay? And what you're looking for, coincidentally should match and be similar to what the company's looking for. Because that's what you're going to be doing, right? So look to drive enterprise scale programs that align with business strategy while delivering measurable outcomes. Okay, so let me ask you guys this in the chat. If you're the hiring manager looking for a program manager and this introduction came in front of you like this for the role that you are hiring for, would you be likely to want to read more about this person? Yes or no in the chat, right? If you saw this like this, would you be intrigued? Would you be interested? Would you be curious to want to know more about this person for this program manager role? Yes. All right. You see what I'm saying? Guys, and like I said, if some of you are not program managers, right? I said if someone in HR, someone in recruitment will not be that. We're making it easier for them and simplifying the language so that they can see what we can do and how it matches there. Okay. I've had people apply for jobs on a Tuesday, senior program manager, interview Wednesday, Thursday, job offer on a Friday. Why? Because we made it easier for them to connect how we can come in to help them, right? I've had multiple candidates land their next job from the very next interview. This is how powerful this is. And this is why I said, you understand this, you learn this is going to change your life and everybody around you as well. That's the ripple effect of how powerful this is. All right? So that's the introduction. So this is what it looks like altogether. Okay? So instead of profile seminar, driving enterprise transformation and business coordinator. Woo, sexy. Innovative program manager, 20 years experience. Yes. Talent to the industry. Yes. Delivered program saved over 2 million. Yes. Fully qualified. Yes. Long drive to enterprise scale programs aligned with business strategy. Yes. Okay. In a few paragraphs, I've said yes to this person 5-6 times. Now, the power of this is this. People tell me cover letter, cover letter, cover letter. And it's like, yeah, but they might not read the cover letter. Okay. This is also a mini cover letter as well, guys. So you can have a cover letter, but this will be able to stand alone on its own with or without the cover letter. Because you don't know whether the hiring manager has 7 seconds or 2-3 minutes to read this. Okay. Give them what they want as quickly as possible and make them want to read more about you. Right? And then we're going to go into the key achievement section. Let me know, are you guys familiar with the STAR method? Yes, right? A lot of you use it. Rebecca says no. So the STAR method, just for clarification, is a storytelling framework for interviews. And it's normally used when you're dealing with competency-based type questions. I've been on the other side, and on my sheet to make it easier from HR, it's the STAR situation. What's the situation? What's the task? What's the action? What's the result? Okay. And I've renamed it for my purposes and what I do, the superstar method. Okay. Because you guys, your mission, should you choose to accept, is to convince the hiring manager that you're the badass superstar to come in and fix their problems. And how we do that? Show them how we've solved similar problems in the past based on what they're looking for. Okay. That's what we're doing here. So the keywords from the job description, I asked from ChatGPT, and these are the keywords that they ranked, right? So I said, okay, what are you looking for? So these are the top 9 keywords they ranked, right? Senior program manager, enterprise-wide transformation, stakeholder management, cross-functional. All of you guys know all these buzzwords because we use it all the time, okay? What I'm going to show you right now is to take it to the next step. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these keywords. I'm going to choose enterprise-wide transformation. I'm just going to call it enterprise transformation. And we're going to break it down, right? So we're telling stories now. And as we all know, we love stories. Humans love stories. We're storytellers, okay? So let's showcase your genius, right? And how amazing you are in stories. So enterprise transformation. What's the problem? Write it out, okay? Legacy system, not fit for purpose, needed to be upgraded to cater for over 10,000 incoming calls a month for a multi-million-dollar industry leader, okay? As you can see from there, I'm not talking about the name of the company. I'm not talking about when it's done. I'm just talking about a problem in general, okay? And as I'm sure a lot of you have lots of joys with legacy systems and integrating into new systems and make everything talk together and the change process and all the challenges, all those things, okay? So think about when you talk about the situation, think about the scale of the change, think about how many people it impacting, think about the how big the company is, right? Think there's lots of different things that make the problem more complex. And you just want to write down complexity of the problem. Scale, impact, whether everything is on the same site or all over the world, right? culture difference, all these sort of things that all of you know or know because you've lived it, comes into when you talk about the problem. And then from here, we're going to go into the task. What did you have to do? So review, recommend, implement a new system that could reduce incoming calls and meet the needs of all key stakeholders. Okay. And then we'll go from that into the action. How the heck did you do it? Because when you talk about the problems, it should be problems you've already solved, right? This is not theoretical. These are real life examples of things you've solved related to what they're looking for. Okay. Whereas before, a lot of people are saying, I don't know what to put on my CV. And it's like, no, it's easy. Understand what they want from the keywords and then show them the key achievements they're looking for based on those keywords, and use that as a signpost to think back throughout your career to bring the best of you up front, regardless of when it was done. Okay. So here's a question from the chat for the chat, please. And please play along. What are 3 things do you think all businesses need to survive? Right? Get your thinking caps on. It's not just me talking. What are 3 things do you think that all businesses need to survive? Cash flow, people, thank you. Anything else? Money, customer service, right? Lots of sustainable income, thank you, right? Lots of great answers in there, right? Solution to sell, customers revenue, thank you, thank you. All great answers, all correct answers. Customer need as well, we've got there as well. From a CV perspective, every single business in the world, wherever you are, public, non-profit, whatever, 3 things every single business needs. The first thing is revenue. Right? No money coming in, you got no business, right? Or funding if it's for a non-profit, but the revenue coming in. The second thing that every single business needs in the world is process improvements and process optimization, right? Because when you can do the same process in half the time, you're saving both time and money, right? And allow you to scale. The third thing that every single business needs that we always forget to mention is regulatory compliance. Right? Every business in the world needs that. If you're a legal business, you need regulatory compliance. Okay. So in very basic, very simple terms, every single business needs to be making money, needs to be saving money, and needs to be avoid paying money out, being by regulatory compliant. So it's all about money, guys. Okay. And now your impact to the bottom line. So I tell people, whatever the things that you do, right? The so what, as I call it, it needs to connect to one of those 3 pillars, because that's the common denominator in every single business in the world. So if you're looking to transition careers, for example, you need to connect to one of those 3 pillars so they can see what you can do for them, right? Based on the common denominator. Look for what you have in common rather than what makes you different. A phrase I talk to people about is that you will stand out by showing how you can fit in. Think about that. We stand out by showing how we fit in. At the moment, there's like most 99% of the people are putting a generic one-size-fits-all CV out there. You will not stand out like that. But that problem is also an opportunity for you guys that are here today that are looking and seeing at this and say, okay, let me take this. I will tell you now, guys, I've had people land jobs just from coming from these types of workshops. I've had people land jobs just from this. Okay. That's how powerful this is. When I say it can change people's lives, I've proved it over and over. I don't care your industry. I don't care your level, from graduates all the way to C-suite. It doesn't matter. I've helped people change, and I'll be doing more of this in the future. Right? So when you talk to the results here, for example, say delivered a program on time and on budget, quality, etc. Reduction on incoming calls by 40%, saving the company over 2 million annually, and reducing complaints by 20%. Okay. And some of you, when you talk about impact, when you understand the impact and the value of the work you've done, and you translate it into numbers, either money saved, money made, or, for regulatory compliance and money saved again, right? You will realize how a lot of you are not even paid enough, even in the jobs you've done in the past. Right? I was speaking to someone earlier and we are doing the same exercise, and they tell me just on one process, they saved over 3-4 million annually. Right? And I said, okay, and how much are you getting paid again? I said, yeah, not enough. Right? But the whole point I say to people, if you rate in your CV 5 or 6 and you can't demonstrate what you bring to the table, how do you expect hiring managers to see it? Right? We got to do this for ourselves first. Okay. So Obviously, that's too much information to put onto a job description, onto the CV, sorry, okay? So what we're doing is we're having your 5 years intro, and the next line is your key achievements, accomplishments section, okay? So I've spent enterprise transformation the wrong way, but that's fine. You know what I'm talking about, right? So enterprise transformation, we've got 2 sentences here, guys. The first sentence is before you, talking about the problem. The second sentence is after you. When talk about problem, result, okay? So here we're saying spearheaded a digital transformation program to replace outdated legacy systems led to over 10K monthly calls and rising regulatory complaints, okay? You're painting the picture of the problems beforehand, okay? If any of you read Robert Cialdini's Power of Influence, this is the law of contrast. How bad it was before, and then we talk about the results after. Implemented new systems that reduce call volume by 40% and complaints while saving 2 million annually. The result after. Okay, so let me ask you guys a question here to see if anyone gets it. We talked about the problem beforehand on the star and the task, and we talked about the result, right? What's missing from this mini case study here, please, that we haven't talked about in terms of the star format? Does anyone know? What's missing, right? The task, says Stephanie. The how the heck did you do that, Helen? Okay. Now, here's another question. If I'm a hiring manager and I want to know how the heck did they do that, what does the hiring manager need to do to know the how? If I'm the hiring manager and I see this and I want to know how the heck did Helen or Stephanie fix this problem, what do I need to do, please? They call you for an interview. Okay, guys, let me ask the question. What's the point of a CV, guys? It's simple. It's like, what's the point of a CV? To get you an interview. Nothing else. To get you an interview, right? The how, they have to earn it. Okay, so now we're speaking to problems they need you to help with, and you're talking about the problem beforehand and the result after. I see a lot of people talk about metrics on their CVs, and the metrics are great, but if there's no contrast to tell me how bad it was before you fixed it, it doesn't do justice to the shit show that you guys had to deal with and get over the line. All right, right? So tell me stories. And you can see, guys, that the language is simple enough, right? That anyone can understand from a HR, a recruiter, and the hiring manager what you can do for him. I've had clients tell me that the recruiter was so excited when they saw my CV that they ran to the hiring manager to give, this is the one, because we're giving them what they need on the plate. Okay? Right? A couple of things I want to say here as well is enterprise transformation, okay? Apologies for the spelling. Enterprise transformation. Use their language. Because as all of you know, every single company out there has their own jargon, right? So the power of language is that when we use their language, say, this person's already one of us. They're speaking our lingo. They're speaking our slang. The problem stays the same. The keyword changes. Can anyone tell me what this little bullet point looks like to anyone, please? And why is it in there? Anyone know what that little tick looks like? Or check? Why do you think it's there? A check mark indicating complete, indicating done, positive reinforcement. Love it, Hiral. Okay, what we're doing here is a visual confirmation, guys, right? I call it a ninja trick. Right? But if you think about it, we're taking the hiring manager on a journey. We've done the 5 years introduction. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, you're looking for enterprise transformation? Check. I've done it. Okay. And you can see, guys, that I've used action verbs up front, right? Spearheaded, implemented. Okay. And it's all in the past tense because it's things I've already done. Right? What I've done here, see, look, here's the power of this. Key achievements. I've changed the keyword up front to change management. The story stays the same because it's not one-to-one, it's one-to-many. So you can change the keyword, the story stays the same, right? Change management, stakeholder management, okay? That's the 3 of the keywords. Because all of these things need all of it. So you might need to tweak it a little bit to make it more stakeholder management. AI can help you with that, okay? So use their language, and then What you're changing is just the keywords. Your stories stay the same. So what it looks like is what we've gone through today. If you see a tailored headline, a tailored 5 years introduction, a tailored key achievements, and then you go into career history, right? And remember, guys, they're not looking to hire you off the back of your CV. They're looking to call you in for an interview. It's not a life or death decision. They just need to make a quick decision to bring you in for the interview. So a lot of you tell me, I just need to get in the door. If you do this top half, right? Top half page, career history, everything stays the same, right? Career history, bringing the best of you up front. And what it does well in this process here is you're leading the conversation where you want it to go up front. Some people tell me, oh, I've got 2 years out of work. Okay, you got 2 years. You can't do anything with the 2 years of work. But what you can do is change the narrative and tell me this is what I can do for your company before I look at your career history, all right? Because it doesn't matter when you've done it. And the problem with the traditional reverse career history at the moment, the most relevant achievements for that role could be stuck on the bottom of page 2. And I'm saying, yeah, but what's the guarantee that we even get to page 2? And sometimes with senior executives I work with, someone gave me a 9-page CV. Who's got time to review 9 pages? Because I don't, okay? And I know that there's probably AI top tools, stuff moving forward can do this. But I think, yeah, but this is more than just for the interview because, guys, the stories that helped you land the interview is the same stories that you use to close the deal in the interview. Okay, so think from a hiring manager's perspective, fighting fires and everything. They got 5 minutes between one meeting and another, if that. And then who's this person again? And so they see the best of you up front before you even come in. Okay, so they're going to be more excited to see you because you've made their job easier. Okay, instead, think like a hiring manager. So again, as we get towards the end of this, on a scale of 1 to 10, knowing what you can do for your CV, can you give me 2 numbers, please? What was your number before and what's your number now? And if there's an improvement, okay? Like I said, the potential for what you can do to your CV once this is recorded, it's going to go online after, but I just wanted to know for me, right? It's gone from a 7 to a 9. Yes. Okay, right? What else we got, guys? Right, this is for you. Let me know if it's helpful or not. Right? Gone from a 7 to 9. Anyone else? What was your first number? What's your second number? On what you know, the potential, what you can do here. Yes, there's some work up front. A 4 to a 8. A 2 to a 8. Yes. Right? Okay? 5 to 8, right? And what I'm trying to say, look, yes, it's going to be a lot of work up front, but once you do the work up front once, you can reuse it for the next job and the next job and the next job. Because this here, guys, is not only just to help you land the job, this can help you write down the key achievements when you're in your next job to help with your performance review, and then in the future, help with bigger and better opportunities as well to start keeping the stories. Because it's going to be hard in the beginning when you're trying to do this, because it's a completely different way of thinking from how we traditionally taught. Okay? So yeah, thank you for playing along. So what I want to tell you to you people is this is not a CV course. This is not a CV course, guys. Okay? This is a clarity, confidence, and communication course. Because if you don't fix the mindset, nothing else matters. People are telling you how amazing and great you are, right? But you can't see it for yourself. So it doesn't matter what anyone says. I've taken you from wherever you were before to how you feel about now, right? And so I just a couple of things I want to leave with. It's not enough for you to know how good you are. You have to feel it to believe it, right? Confidence is an inside job. I can't tell all of you how amazing you are. You have to tell it to yourself for you to believe it, okay? Nobody else can tell you that. And so here's a question for all of you, right? As we wrap up, how different would life be if you knew this earlier in your career? I wish I knew this when I was 20 years old, but like I said, I haven't invented my time machine yet. But there's a question for all of you in the chat. I'm curious, how different would life be if you knew this when you were earlier? If you knew this earlier in your career? I would have married you. I'll let you fight with my wife for that, Sam, right? Everything would be different if I knew what I know now. Okay, so when I learned this, I was swearing. I was still like, how did I not know this before? How to go through this years and years and years of struggle? How did I not know this before? So you can see why I'm passionate about this. And I was like, oh my gosh, how do I help more people? How can I change people's lives? How am I doing all these things? Okay, so what I want to say is, I've decided, okay, so what can I do to go and help people at the beginning of their career to all of this? Okay. So I want to let you all now know on this call that I've accepted a job offer to help a local NGO. It's a nonprofit that works with the Universal Credit people to help people go into jobs. And they told me they have about 1,000 people on the books right now, and they're looking to help them jobs. Just like, send me in. Okay. And my role is not to work with them. My role is actually to work with all the HR teams in the local area to help connect them all these people, and all paid for by the government, and said, yeah, sign me up. I want to make a difference. I want to change people's lives because I can't go back and change my life. Let me go and change other people's lives. Right. So that's what I'm doing. So what I'm trying to tell you guys, this is not just theory. I've lived it for the last 5 years, and I've used it to help people land into CEO jobs, head of procurement, head of data science and AI. And I don't know nothing about these types of roles because you're the expert. Right? I'm not here to tell you guys how to land your jobs. I come from, like I like to tell people, I'm the idiot in the room. Okay, you're going to be all technical and all this. Okay. How do we simplify? How do we make it easy for everybody else to write? That's what I do when I with my HR hat on. Okay, so what that means is I will not be doing many one-to-one coaching anymore because this is what I'm going to be doing moving forward, and this is the day job. Okay, but I still want to help people, and that's what I'm doing. So some of you talked about earlier about clarity, right? What you didn't want to do, right? And I'm telling you that this can help you land a job because I've proven over, right? But as Mark Twain says, the two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out your why. Okay? I found my purpose, guys. Oh, and it's crazy. And this is how a introvert from Fiji with a crooked nose and the crooked teeth is just doing this. And I just don't care what other people think anymore. Okay? Because I'm found my purpose, I found my passion, and I'm going to be doing it every single day, right? And like I said, it's not perfect. I'm working it out as I go along and build a plane while I'm flying it at the same time. It doesn't matter. I'm having fun. So the question for those of you, yes, you can land a job. If you need money right now, go use it to land a job. But stop settling for mediocre. Life is too short, guys, right? Find your purpose. That's a journey in itself. It's not going to happen tomorrow, right? And I don't know how long it's going, and no one can guarantee you when you're going to find your next job. But as you can see here, guys, as hiring manage yourself and knowing the pain of what all this is done, this can make so much of a difference to you. Okay. So, like I said, if you want to come and speak to me and all these things, I'm not doing one-to-one coaching anymore. Very few slots left for that, but I am doing group coaching. Enrico says ATS is a huge barrier. And I said, look, ATS is a screening system, but at the end of the day, a human needs to make the decision whether you're going to go there, okay? And most CVs guys are boring as batshit, but that's the opportunity on how you can make a difference that way as well, okay? So again, an online community where I'm talking about clarity and resume and LinkedIn. I've done all of this. I'm recording the sessions. It's there, and then people, we meet once a week for Q&A, like we're doing today, okay? So like I said, I don't want to talk too much. If you want to come and join, come and speak to me. We have a weekly call every Wednesday. Hey, so you got to the end of the session. Thank you all for watching. And I hope you can see that I love what I do. And my intention has always been to help and empower people with some of the challenges, the biggest challenges I've had myself as well. Right? And I've lived it, and I know the pain, and I know the problems, and I know the frustration, and the impact of all of this has. So yes, you can follow me on social media. Dream Job Secrets is my handle on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. On LinkedIn is where I live every day. James Tomasi Kennedy. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. I hope this was useful, and I'm wishing you all the best on your job search. As I said in the course, people have landed roles just from the strategies that I'm sharing here today. And for all of you amazing C-suite executives, that this is all you need. Best of luck to you. And for those of you looking for more than just another job with purpose, with fulfillment, because that's what I wanted, and I finally found it. I hope you can see that. And you love helping others, and you'd rather not do this alone. I run a weekly group session with executives from all over the world, and we're supporting each other and we're helping each other on the journey. And we go through the entire process, not just the resume, but we talk about interview strategy, job search strategy, LinkedIn, all the way through to the end of salary negotiation to help you land your next role. And we're doing some amazing networking with like-minded people from all over the world and just having fun on the process as well. So if you're interested, just hit me up on any of my social media accounts, and I'll talk you through. But other than that, I'm just going to say, share this with anyone you know, because the job search is so frustrating and so painful, right? And I make the joke that you wouldn't want to wish this on your own worst enemy, right? So share this around. And I'd love to celebrate you when you land your next role. And if this helps you, let me know. Send me any feedback, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for your time. And until next time. I'm working with executives from all over the world. Job search is one of the most loneliest, exhausting, and soul destroying things out there. It's like, why are you doing it alone?